with taking a few minutes every day to really concentrate on centering yourself and stretching your muscles and getting the flow of energy going through you. It improves your quality of life in many different ways. You find you're physically able to do, after a regimented routine, more things than you were able to do before. All things that you had done before come a little easier because your body moves a little bit easier. I remember, this is a funny anecdote I like to relate, is that the hardest part of my day every day, though I could deadlift 500 pounds for sets of 15, was putting my socks on because I didn't have the mobility to do it. So yoga has really increased my mobility, my flexibility, and I really just recommend it for so many different ways, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It increases your awareness and increases your bodily connectivity to your mind, and I feel it's just helped me in so many different ways, and I cannot advocate it enough, especially for professional wrestlers. It'll increase the longevity of your career.
Yeah, of course, and other bigger name wrestlers like Chris Jericho, among others, referencing to the DDPY program. A lot of people are like, oh, well, they're just endorsing it. It's their boy. No, now you're hearing testimonial. It doesn't have to be necessarily DDPY, but there is forms, any type of yoga. You're hearing it from here that, for Greywolf himself, it helps him out, and he's obviously seeing the results. So it ain't no BS. It's definitely worth your effort. I mean, like I said, I agree with that 100%.
And I cannot advocate enough. My favorite is, I'll do some yoga flows. My absolute favorite is yin yoga, where you'll get into a posture and you'll hold the posture for 2 to 5 minutes, which is a longer hold, but it stretches the muscle and connective tissue a lot better. And I feel tremendous after doing a yin yoga session for, half an hour to 40 minutes. You really get stretched out and you really feel like almost you have a new body after you finish the session. So it's yin yoga, YIN yoga. If you ever have a chance, there's plenty of YouTube videos and plenty of information online that you can look up some of these postures and be guided through with YouTube videos. I highly, highly recommend. Even if you already practice yoga and have not yet tried yin, I would really recommend a yin practice, and it really centers you and gets you into a very meditative state because of the duration which you have to hold the poses. No, as long as I'm safe, and as long as I practice my yoga, and as long as I do things in a very wise way. I was a little more reckless when I was a little bit younger, and now I'm taking care of myself a little bit better. I can see my career lasting many, many more years. So long as I'm very cautious about it, and I'm much also cautious in the generation coming up, because I see so many people. They want to get over and they want to do all these really big spots, and they want to do the crazy things to get the 1 minute attention on the YouTube and then the gifts and online. And I say, don't stunt your career to get over with one small thing. Work smart and focus on longevity rather than short-term firework effect, as I call it. Everybody looks to the sky doing a firework. They see it for that split second and they're impressed. But 10 minutes later, they forget they saw the fireworks. These fireworks don't mean anything.
That's
really respectful show for many, many years. And I feel like so long as I take care of my body, which I am very, very well now, I eat properly. I'm in the gym constantly. I'm doing my yoga, and you take care of your mind, because everything that happens in your mind translates to your body and will thus represent itself eventually physically in how you take care of your mind, because your mind controls all. And so my mind sees myself wrestling many, many, many years into the future, because I have control over it, because I have control over my body, because I'm very aware. Look at people like Ric Flair. He's in his 60s and he still can wrestle to a degree. So I can see myself still performing many, many years. Whether I elect to or not, and whether I choose to pursue, as you said, I have many other adventures in which I'm invested. That remains to be seen, but I love wrestling. Wrestling is my passion. Yes, I enjoy coaching and giving back and seeing the children that or students, I should say, that I coach, and instruct, blossom and bloom into their own respective wrestlers in their own right. I think that's a beautiful thing. So how long I'm actively wrestling, that remains to be seen. I see several more years, but how long will I be active in business? I think, for as long as my body will permit me to, in some capacity.
All right, one last thing for me, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but as a coach, is there, or it doesn't have to be necessarily a student from the school, but any other talent that's just getting started out there in the world of wrestling that you've seen that people really should keep an eye on, that obviously maybe none of us would know? Like, who's going to be that next person to break out, do you think, in your opinion?
Oh, that's very hard to say, because I see so many people that are focused 1 minute and the next minute they lose sight of what they're doing, and that's always saddens me, because I've seen so much talent that could have got picked up, but metaphorically shot himself in the foot. There's so many talented people. I tend to refrain from naming names off the top of my head, because I don't want to. It's not a matter of including anyone, it's a matter of excluding anyone. I feel, there's so much talent out there. I'll tell you some places to focus on. I mean, the Future of Honor is a magnificent place to see some of the best up-and-coming talent from all over the regions. They collectively gather for what's now the Future of Honor, which is being hosted out of the Monster Factory now. I might, anybody who's not following Monster Factory, monsterfactory.org and Monster Factory on social media, I'd recommend following all platforms, because there's terrific material coming out. Some of the top names you're going to see are coming out of those facilities. MCW is another one to keep your eyes on. So much tremendous talent coming out of them. But to name specific names, I'd feel bad naming anybody specifically, because I don't want to exclude anybody and leave anybody out.
Fair. That's why I prefaced. I don't want to put you on the spot, but yeah, Future of Honor. It's really amazing the talent that they're signing too. I think. I know a guy, Vinny Pacifico, just got signed there. Ken Dixon's another one, among others.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know if she's officially with Future of Honor, but I know she's working with them somewhat. Caitlin Diamond, she's in Women of Honor. Very tremendous Canadian talent. Yeah, I agree with you. The future's bright. And again, with the way that the landscape's shaping right now, there's no telling what the world of pro wrestling holds for the younger talent. And it's encouraging, for old and young, not to put it in such a way, but, for the elder statesmen and the young guard.
I mean, yes, you look at the sort of older generation. I mean, Bully Ray is still doing terrific. Hurricane Helms is another one you could look at. Who's an older generation WWE is now doing tremendous in Ring of Honor, and Brutal Bob Evans, the name speaks for itself. I mean, so you mentioned all the younger talent. Look at all the older talent that's has been around for quite a few years and is still out there making a name, making an impression, and have a lot left to give to leave their legacy.
Absolutely. All right, Greywolf, I really appreciate you taking the time out. Again, on Twitter, at TLW Greywolf. I don't have the socials in front of me. Forgive me. Plug the clothing line that you have coming out, and then we'll let you go.
Sure. If you want to follow myself, it's TLW_Greywolf, as we've said. If you want to go on the Dragon Slayer social media, the social media is going to be facebook.com/DragonslayerWW, Instagram at WDragonslayerW, Twitter at DragonslayerWW, and we'll have a website up and running very, very shortly. It's currently under construction, so we'll have products in right now. We have shirts and we have beanies available, and we're going to have a lot more products coming in the coming months. So I'm very happy you let me express that, because I'm very, very excited about the sign, and I feel like we can do a lot of very good things with what we have coming up.
Absolutely. Like I said, I love the message of it too, so that's why I felt it was important to get it out there. All right, Greywolf, thank you again so much for taking the time. Best of luck with the clothing line, and best of luck with everything else in the future. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. One more thing before I go. I got to get a Haru from you. So Haru.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
The honor's been mine, my friends.
All right. Take care. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Greywolf Raventhorne. I want to sit there. He loves the classical music, and he has that accent, dude. I just want to sit there, listen to Mozart or Beethoven, and have like a scotch on the rocks with him. And I'm not. This isn't any disrespect, but like he seems like such a chill dude to hang out with, and I have the picture up here for a little bit longer as a point of emphasis. I mean, the dude's built like a brick shithouse. I would not want to mess with him, but he seems, and I barely met him at ECWA, and I had mentioned that at the top of the interview, and he had mentioned it, and that he hadn't been there in a while, but he seemed very nice and a pleasure to be around with the other people, and as he said, just and the message is kind of across the board with many of the talents I've had on so far, that this is literally the best time to be a pro wrestling fan right now since the Attitude Era, and it's definitely it's definitely a hell of a time to be a pro wrestling fan. So okay, well, it looks like I'll be having my other special guest coming on with me in just a moment, because I really wanted to talk about this, and I could talk about anything. Obviously, I'm doing the podcast, but I really wanted to have a woman come on to talk about this because, well, there's a reason behind it, but I want a woman's perspective, and actually, this woman in particular, I do have a couple of additional questions with, which should actually hopefully tie into things pretty well, but we'll see once we get there. But the women's evolution has taken a really weird turn, if that's kind of the best way to put it. Because right now they're looking for change in the world of wrestling. They're looking for, WWE's promised change. And it's changing all right. And I don't necessarily know how to feel about this. So once this person comes on, then I can talk a little bit more about it. Because I feel weird. I don't know how the best way to describe it would be, but they're making changes, and I will say this though before they come on. With the women's evolution, I feel like, and I'll reiterate this when they come on, I feel like when you take one step forward, you take two steps back. And that's a shame, because of the talent that's on WWE programming, because of the talent that's out there on the independents or other companies. You could point to the women that Tessa Blanchard, Britt Baker, Penelope Ford, Taya Valkyrie, Allie, Sue Young, Rosemary. You have and there are so many countless others on the independent scene that aren't on television that are really just very, very good. Nikki Adams is one that's great. Another Women of Honor participant. Caitlin Diamond, and I had said Jenny Rose. She's a Ring of Honor contracted wrestler too. For Women of Honor. There's so many out there. Lufisto, Kimber Lee. I mean, there's so many good talent out there. And when you have that as the one step forward, you do the stuff like that's been on TV recently, and you're really taking two steps back. And I find it funny because of, now, me personally, I didn't have a problem with it because it is whatever. The Priscilla Kelly thing, the Mandy Rose promos, Scarlett Bordeaux with the lap dance of Scott Steiner on Impact, and Alexa Bliss being caught with her top off. Like, I kind of expected it from Impact because of Don Callis. And I'm not saying this in any ill will towards Don, but I'd seen things somewhere where he had come out and said that we're going to be edgier, sexier,